Okay, so today I want to talk about the top 3 reasons pickleball players are not getting better. This is Dr. Michelle. Happy Coffee Talk Monday! Yay! Yeah, I play pickleball, as probably most of you know. And I see a lot of frustration on the court. And here are the top 3 reasons I think there is a lot of frustration. Number 1, pickleball is the only sport I've ever played, and I have played many, many sports where we don't practice. So weird. I can't tell you how many times I've said this. Weird. No practice? And you want to get better? Well, and I should say that is the goal for most all of us. Look, if you don't practice, it's really hard to get better. And what I mean by that is most of us don't drill, we don't practice. We just are playing games. And I don't care about the score most of the time because I just want to improve and get better. But even in social games, it's hard to practice because if I'm not being competitive, there are other people on the court who are being competitive. So our goals do not match up. So practice is the number 1 challenge to not getting better in pickleball. You got to practice, you got to drill. And for a while, I was taking lesson after lesson and going over the same thing at every lesson. So finally, I stopped taking lessons because why do I need to pay someone when I should just be out practicing and drilling? Now, here where I live, which may be common where you live, getting court time to practice is definitely a challenge. It didn't used to be, but now it's a huge challenge because, pickleball is huge and there's limited court availability. There's more and more, but so, that is a little bit of an obstacle, although my friends and I rent courts, so we could drill rather than play, and we don't do that. Anyway, number 1 obstacle, no practice. Number 2 obstacle is that we all just jump into playing tournaments. And we haven't practiced. So you get into a tournament and want to do well, but get frustrated because you don't do well. For me, there's a lot of inconsistency in my play. Sometimes I can play out of my mind, like 4-0. And other times, 2-5, 3, probably 3. Yeah. And again, I think that goes back to the lack of practice. But then I get into tournaments and I don't quite have all of the right skills. Partially because I haven't practiced, right? So then you're jumping into a tournament when you haven't practiced your skills and worked on those and want to do well in a tournament. I mean, I've been fortunate because I have won gold in a couple of local small tournaments. But there's been other tournaments I've played in where, again, the lack of consistency has not provided great results for me, which ties back to not practicing, right? So number one challenge, not practicing. Number two is just like jumping into tournaments and expecting to do well. So that leads me to number three, because both of these things and other things then lead to this breakdown in your mental game. So working on your mental game is pretty critical if you want to get better, if you want to play tournaments. You know, if your goal is just to get better and keep playing socially, then the mental game may not be as critical to you. But if you're someone who wants to continue to get better and play tournaments, then you're going to need this mental side. So having confidence, making sure that you're showing up for a tournament in the right headspace, making sure that you have a solid pre-serve routine, and knowing how to deal with those moments between points, right? Because, yeah, that's frustrating. Like, can't believe that ball just like flew by me. So having a mental game is critically important as you advance and get better if you want to play tournaments. Well, can be important as well if you want to get better playing socially. Just depends on your investment and what you want to do, right? Because as we know, pickleball is really sort of geared towards people over 50. So like baby boomers and up. And yeah, so some want to play competitively and some don't want to play competitively. But anyway, those are the three top challenges and missing pieces to getting better and advancing in pickleball. Again, not practicing. How do you expect to get better? Number two, jumping into tournaments and getting like frustrated and nervous and, you know, not quite having the skill, having like inconsistent moments. And number three is not having the proper mental game. I think once you can get and work on those three things and they come together, you'll be a little bit more rock solid and less frustrated. Okay. Happy Monday. Thanks for being here. I will see you next week. Have a good week.